Hi, morning to you laddies. My name is Assassin and welcome back to some more of the devil, where we are back as a girl Morgan and we are I think investigating this guy, which is the supposed heartbreak killer. I don't know. I really like this game, so yeah, I decided to play some more. It's depressing as hell in here. Whoa, wow, those are some big hands, like real big hands. Like she got the yeah, they need to liven up or liven this place up. Carlos flat, right? Hope you don't mind if I get comfortable. You've got a lot to cover, but this shouldn't take all night. What are you? Look, I already told you people, I'm not a cop, Carlos. Furthest thing from it. I'm a lawyer. You're a lawyer, in fact. And I'm here to help you. Yeah, well, they said that too. All of them did. Back there and here, kept repeating it the whole ride over. They said that they were going to help me, that they knew this was all a mistake. Then they said that I killed, acting like they were on my side and they thought that I could have, It's not their job to help you, Carlos, but it is mine, and I'm here now. He's still in shock. I need more information, but if I approach this the wrong way, he'll just clam up even more. I'm sure you're exhausted. It's probably difficult to think, let alone speak, but I'd like you to try and answer a few questions. The police already questioned you, I'm sure, but they were treating you as a suspect, not as a client. Okay. So, what do you want to know? I don't know, like, how's your day? Where were you? Did you murder the victim? I guess about the murder. I could start there if I wanted to see what a panic attack looked like. Gory details like these have their own kind of whatever. Hard to get the ball moving, but once it starts downhill, for now I should just get him talking about anything low to get your juicy bits soon enough. Let's start simple, something mundane, grounded routine. I'd like to know a bit more about you first, Carlos. Something like, what line of work are you in? I'm with the city engineering, or I was, or I should be. As I thought, the police must be convinced he mapped the optics blackouts using data he stole from work. My arm, I got it slotted for the job. And Carlos, I'm gonna need more than that. So what do I know? He works in a city engineering, not a desk job. Reyes said he was modded for work and that arm must be in custody at the moment, but based on his shoulder, it'd have to be pretty lifelike perhaps, with the fake skin and the fox hair and simulated blood flow. As if... shut up. I have seen his apartment. He's not that kind of spender. No, he's pragmatic, grounded, and very unlucky. In which case, I should be too. Sorry, he needs a coffee. You know, my brother wanted to mod. Really? Really? I don't even have a brother. He had everything planned out, a whole career path of promotions and bonuses and upgrades they'd afford him. and came his 18th birthday present. Test results politely informing him that he's not a viable candidate. That sucks. I think he felt relieved, actually. Seemed like it was a weight off his chest. Listen, like he was glad that he didn't have to choose. Does that make any sense? Yeah, I think it does. I always figured if I'd start at all, I'd start small. A hand or an eye, test the water. Never thought about lobbing my whole damn arm off, but the recruiter was enthusiastic. He said because of the NCDA, there was a financial aid and resources. Of course, that got shit canned, Jesus. So now me and every other modder is royally screwed, couldn't even let me keep the tax credit. The new Citizens with Disabilities Act was amended, not repealed, or what? But I doubt he'd appreciate the distinction at the moment. They worked the tighter spaces, the high volt environments, mostly canopy upkeep. Typical stuff for modders, you know. He's speaking freely now, don't need to do much more than repeat his words back to him to keep him talking. But the right word choice here and or there could still make a difference. You work on the canopy, you must be under a lot of pressure. You must be under a lot of pressure. You know that the subways are cordoned off. Damn straight in this crap of long. Once word got out that the case against him was real, every desk job in the chain became terrified of their own shadow. All of them convinced that Eternal Affairs is gonna come knocking if they misplace so much as a paperclip. Everything by the book means no room for compromise, no room for problem solving, no room for engineering. Yeah. And no patience for screw-ups. He's trying very hard to not look at his shoulder. Why aren't you wearing your prosthetic right now, Carlos? I don't fucking know. Maybe because they took the damn thing. Yeah, that. Rejection issues starting last month. A lot of sleepless nights. Rejection. Did the therapy not take? It's not like that. I wasn't oozing pus out of my sockets or anything. Then do these rejection issues have anything to do with your scars? Not in the way you're thinking. I'm right-handed. So those cuts on his face are just from shaving. Never thought this go on so long. I'd have to relearn how to do everything. I mean, the problem started small, trembling, but then spasms. Just oversensitivity, they said, an easy fix. But the problem got bigger. Couldn't let it get that far. Need to be able to trust your own hands when you're on the job site, drop a color at the wrong moment and people could get hurt. So I sat down, made an appointment, turned in my arm. Ah! Will you stop hitting things? And watch my case get placed at the back of the damn line. Where did you turn it in? Some what? Mace turnaround chop shop with a waiting list like you wouldn't. It doesn't sound like you're a happy customer. Hell no! Oh my god, I get it! I found a dozen other clinics with shorter wait times. But as long as I'm renting and not owning, the manufacturer decides where your arm gets maintenance. And that's why I'm sitting here with this expensive ass stump for a shoulder. I haven't been able to work in weeks. Bosses were generous enough to say my position might still be there when I got to two working arms again. You couldn't buy or rent a replacement yourself, you just in the meantime. I serve at the pleasure of the state. and they've got exclusivity contracts with Hindi, all locked up white knuckle tight. Hindi? Hio Industries? As I recall, he's registered with one of their models. If I took one step on site with uninsured tech, forget the fines, I'd lose the damn down payment in my arm. And I'd never work in this city again. If this was last quarter, maybe I could have worked something out with the management, but like I said, no one's sticking their neck out for anyone now that the long's in deep hot shit. You mentioned discomfort. Are you in pain? Pain will come and go. It's the itches that'll kill you. And the phantoms come back pretty fast when I don't have anything arm-shaped attached to me. Didn't they give you something to, well, wear in the meantime? Something the clinics lend out for cases like this? What they gave me is a dead weight. Can you stop hitting the desk or whatever you're hitting? Dead weight, 3-jointed landfill bait piece arm of shit. Sorry, it's a very shitty feeling having a part of your body that you know they cut corners on. It fits, it's compatible technically. I can slot it in and feel on balance again. But the fingers don't even bend, and the quick twitch motors are way off. I also just realized I don't think Morgan actually has any cybernetics, at least that I can see. It's like walking around with your arm asleep or dead. So you were wearing it when you were arrested? Were you wearing it when you were arrested? No, I wasn't. But I'm pretty sure I saw the police bagging it as evidence, so can't have gotten too far. So Detective Reyes was being quite literal about how he was found. He had the victim's blood on his left arm only because at the time in the question he didn't even have it right. No inconsistencies in the story so far, and he's opened up about as well as it can be expected. But this has just been a warm-up for the both of us. Now comes the delicate part. Carlos, you and the victim were romantically involved. How long did you two know each other? Right. I've known her since college. We shared a few classes, some mutual friends. Always got along. Eventually, we just got together at some point. Guess I never actually asked her out the real formal way. Sounds pretty cowardly saying that out loud. Diane, she was in genetics, focused her studies on agriculture. It always takes them a few tries to get used to using past tense. Just finished her post-grad work this year. Got hired right out the gate, practically headhunted. You believe that? Practically headhunted. Of course, she was any company to be lucky to have her. Unlike, it was a real ass job, paid real ass money too. So her career was starting to pan out, right as yours had fallen into the mud of all slumps. Where was she hired? Pedigree? No. Perigee Laboratories. I say that like the name matters. The whole setup's under Haruko's umbrella. That doesn't narrow it down. The Harvest Corporation grows a third of the soybeans and corn in the entire country. One client that size, the lab wouldn't need any others. No corporation is the mega prefix without a little throat cutting, but Harco is about as tame as big business can get. Predictable like seasons. No one's gonna buy that they had some lab tech murdered because of corporate greed. Has she just adjusted well to her new job. Yeah, they loved having her there. She never mentioned arguments or dispute. Corporate politics getting rough. I don't think so. Not like I've been a good listener lately, but I never got the impression that she... Look, no one I know could do this to her, and there's nothing she could have done that would deserve what happened to her. It was a long shot, hoping for a disgruntled character from her past shift to blame onto. But with no other suspects, I can't just reshuffle the detective's suspicions. I'll have to disprove the argument entirely. Thank you, Carla. That was very helpful. It was? Now, I'd like you to try and tell me whatever you can about what happened tonight. Start at the beginning and take your time. The details are important. Alright, Miss, Morgan. I'll try Morgan. When you're ready. We were arguing. We had been arguing a lot lately, arguing about stupid stuff. I haven't been working, haven't been making any money, haven't been pulling my weight. I was mad at myself. But more than that, I was jealous of her. Jealous over nothing. Jealous. If you slam something one more time, I will throw you out that damn door. Jealous over goddamn money. The reports say you were arguing around 8 p.m. 8? Yeah, it must have been when we started. We got into it and I said a lot of things that I shouldn't have. And I said one thing that I really shouldn't have. I crossed the line and we both knew it, so I left. You left? Yeah. Walked out of the front door, thought some fresh air might help me cool off. Help me figure out what to say to make it up to her. Of course, the air wasn't fresh, just humid, thick like mud. And while I was pissing away the time, Diane was... Did you bring your phone with you or any other electronics? No. I kinda stormed off, didn't even take my key fobs. Didn't even lock the door behind me. With optics down, traffic and street level cameras won't help him. That leaves. Did you go through a checkpoint or talk to anyone with modded eyes? Did you buy anything, cash or credit? No, not even a vending machine. Not even a damn vending machine, huh? I may have met my match. How can anyone be this unlucky? That's quite unfortunate. I just wanted quiet at the time, wanted to wallow in it, really. Sorry if I don't have all the details quite right. My head is. But if my exact route would help, the cameras probably. What is it? What? Optics was what? Can that even happen? I'm going to punch you. And there's no other proof that you were out at the time Diana was killed. Meaning you've got no alibi. This isn't... You do it again. Don't you fucking do it. This can't... Listen, I didn't do this. I couldn't. Carlos. I'm the one person you don't have to try to convince. After all, I'm your lawyer. So let's just get it all out there and see what we've got to work with. Right. Now, you said you left to clear your head. So what made you come back? I came back because I heard a noise. A loud noise. Didn't know what it was. But it was loud and it scared me. And it came from the direction of our apartment. I was walking back at first, but at some point I must have started running because when I got back I was so out of breath. And when I saw that the front door was open, something dropped in my chest and my lungs wouldn't. You live on the first floor, right? Yeah, the first floor apartment, street facing entrance. You were proud of that when we first moved in. Like it was some kind of big deal. From the hallway I saw her, but I didn't realize. I never thought that she was. The lights were off, the whole room was a mess. I thought we had been robbed or she had even fallen or there was broken glass, furniture knocked over. And I called her name and she didn't move. I checked her pulse and she was still warm. Her blood was warm. And I saw the gun. It looked so heavy, but I thought it had to be fake because I didn't want it to be real. Is that why you picked it up? What? Pick it up? I didn't touch that thing. Stop hurting things! I didn't shoot her, damn it. Doing what I do, you hear a lot of lies. White lies, blatant lies, hasty lies. Bad lies especially. For me, it's always been easy to spot a lie. But it can be hard to know what to do about it. I have all the proof I need in my file. But he's nervous and defensive. And none of this works if he doesn't trust me. It's registered, I don't know. It's a fact because the gun is in your name. Gotta punch him. That's not possible. Someone must be trying to frame me. No, that was just a joke. Oh, my coin. Well, wasn't very funny. But the fact of the matter is your fingerprints are on that gun. What? But I didn't do this. I wasn't thinking. I was just... Carlos, all I'm saying is that you picked it up, that's all. Would you believe me if I said I didn't realize it was a gun? That explains how his prints got on the gun, but not in a way that would satisfy the police. Still, if all he did was hold the gun. So stupid, I know what a gun looks like. But seeing it in my own home, right in front of... You weren't shot, Carlos. You still are. The police came in sometime after that. I don't remember much of what they said. Things started moving fast. It seemed like the rest of my night went probably the way you'd expect. Carlos, you admit to having a verbal argument with Diane, but you said you were surprised to see the room trashed when you got back. To clarify, you're saying that you two never had a physical fight? What physical? We never fought. We never fought like that. Did the police say that we did? They assumed as much, which means they also assumed the room was disheveled well before the shooting occurred. Considering what Carlos has told me, what else did they assume? What is it? I'd like you to take a look at something from me, the crime scene. Oh. It's an AR model built from data taken as the police entered cell. Right, it's just data, Carlos. No grisly details. Okay. Let me see it. Take your time. Alright, I think I got it. That's how the police found things. Now close your eyes and think back to how the room looked when you left. Try and focus on what's out of place. Alright. I'll take notes, you just say whatever comes to mind. I don't remember exactly where everything was. But well, the mirror was upright, of course. And that clock was still on the wall. And the chair got knocked over at some point, and the bed got tossed, the cushion torn, and the urn fell. Other than that, No, sorry, that's all that stands out to me. I see. Like so. Wow, Morgan, you really are. This is like amazing. This is the best drawing I've ever seen. What's wrong? Something out of place? Carlos, you need to trust your instinct. If anything seems off, don't be afraid to speak up. It's just, I guess I just assumed your notes would be making edits to the HR, or the AR. Well, I suppose that works too. Sorry, I didn't mean... I think your drawings were pretty good considering... I'd like to change the subject now, Carlos. Right. Let's talk about the letter that was found on your desk. Letter? What do you mean? I mean, this letter. Do you recognize it? Because the police are calling it a confession. A confession? But this is just a note to self. Pardon? Look, when we fight, I lose my temper, say things I don't mean to. So this morning, I decided to write things down so I'd have a script to stick to. So I could apologize to her instead of just fighting with her. Carlos, you say in the note that you hurt them. That's I broke her fidget tubbies. Her what? What the fuck? Her what? Are you fucking serious? Her fidget tubbies. They're these collectible ceramic character things. They're supposed to be like tactile. You use them as a paperweight or so. Or conversation starters. Conversation starters. She loves them. Or loved those little things. They're not worth a damn. You can buy them at any flea market or garage sale, but they meant a lot to her. And I broke them. And I mean, I was pissy at the time, but that goddamn piece of shit rental arm, I hardly know where I'm swinging it half the time. Got so angry, I just ripped it off and tossed it in my room. That cheap, dusty, worthless. Okay, let's say he did break her fidget duckies with his replacement arm. What does that change? Nothing at the moment. There's not enough detail in the note for me to prove what his intent was when he sat down to write it. But the police insist on claiming it's a confession for the heartbreak killing anyway. Couldn't even bother to sweep them up, I felt so. Alright, Carlos, thanks for answering my questions. Now I'm going to call the police back in here and I'm going to get this cleared up for you. What? That's it? That's it! Okay. Although, before I do that, I have to ask, what do you know about the heartbreak killer? So creepy. Heartbreak? You mean that psycho that was trending all month? I mean, as much as anyone, I guess. I haven't been getting out much, but I'm sure everybody's on edge. A guy like that out there, he shoots people through the heart, right? The police kept the victim's appearance far away from any upstanding news source. So unless he was already following the murders, Carlos wouldn't notice any resemblance to his girlfriend. I mean, she was shot in the chest, but that doesn't mean anything, does it? If he's this slow on the uptake, it's gonna be a real shock when those officers walk in here and accuse him of being a serial killer. I'll just have to squash that theory as quickly and definitely as possible. Okay, June 15th. Okay. I didn't realize you could smoke in here. Technically, I can smoke whatever I want. For a fee. I guess so. Okay. Nervous? Don't be. I'm the one who's on the clock. Right, I'm sure this isn't your first time doing it. No, of course not. It will be my first homicide defense though. Uh-oh. Why does everyone always think the first time's so goddamn important? Hey, cheer up! I've got relevant experience in other areas. Oh. And, what areas are those? You ever gamble, Carlos? You ever like to put your life on the line for a gamble? No, ma'am. I never go anywhere near loot boxes. I won't touch this stuff. I meant more like playing cards. Oh, well then, no, not that too. I've actually got pretty terrible luck. Could have fooled me. Well, what I do is a lot like poker, Carlos. Poker's nice because even if you're dealt nothing but crap all night long, you can still win. Which makes things pretty fun. Okay, so, do you have a good poker face? I like to think so. And are you lucky? Only when the stakes are high. And, in this metaphor, we're playing we're playing pecker. We're playing poker. In the stakes, in the States, the dealer. If only. No, the State's more like the house. You mean, like, the house always wins? Yes. They're very good at it. Winning, I mean. That's why they're up there and we're down here. That's why they're the house. So what do? We play the cards we're dealt as best we can. Win more hands than we lose. Keep it up and eventually someone will come over and tap on the dealer's shoulder and whisper something in their ear. And then we'll be politely asked to leave. That doesn't sound very triumphant. The house always wins. The house always wins, Carlos. Okay, just know that even when we're dealt bad hands, the house always wins. Anyway, so our definition of victory is more like, don't lose. Thanks, Morgan. But I guess I was more asking like, what should I say? Just leave all the talking to me. So that's the strategy. What's up? You know there's a saying about gamblers with strategies. Yo! Limp dicks! Like a picture of Ray as this coming. I forgot what this fucking game. Ready to confess yet? Cause I already woke up the DA. Already? She must be now. The district attorneys have a final say on whether or not a case is brought to trial. Only fair since they're the ones who end up having to actually prove the damn thing. Most of them prefer simple guilty pleas over long protected trials, and they all dislike having their time wasted. Unfortunately, then you'll have to call them back, because my client is not guilty. And frankly, I'm not even sure you have enough to hold him here. Right. What she said. You got a weird sense of humor, counselor. Different generations, I guess. Before my time kind of thing. I'm very serious when it comes to defending a man's innocence, detective. Counselor, we have your client's written confession. His written confession, let's start there. Okay, we'll be happy to. The thrust of every argument starts with the facts, what's already known and agreed upon. Public knowledge for every player at the table. It's pretty simple, counselor. Real paint by the numbers stuff. See, we found a note at his apartment with his fingerprints on it, apologizing for the hurt them all so bad. Now, how are you planning on spending that? Those are the facts. This is all so cool. Again, this is all very Danganronpa, which I like. Like this whole like style and stuff. Whoa, Morgan's. Damn, I mean, oh, but I've been building up my hand all night. It's actually right here. And now I've got the weapons to answer anything they try and throw at me. Wow. My client did write that note, and it was an apology, but not for the murder. Or not, he was apologizing for. He was apologizing for the I mean, it was the debris, right? Because it fell over. How do I? Oh. Whoa. He was simply apologizing for this. Oh, I thought I lost points. I was worried for a second. The hell is that? Win your first hand. Hell yeah. I found it myself asking that exact same question. What are we looking at here? Something from the crime scene? Did your text break? This diagram of the room is created from the data you captured, right? Pure non-GMO augmented reality crime scene data, yeah. What's non-GMO? Not much these days. Notice anything out of place? Yeah, the whole room's full of busted shit. It's the scene of a murder, you dumbass. Full of busted shit for sure. But I was more referring to the unidentified ceramic debris found on the western side of the room. The hell is that? Ceramic debris, huh? Must be from the face that got tossed. Actually, that's not possible. Oh? Because that vase... well, I don't know. Wasn't... Because that vase wasn't actually present. Wasn't present in like a mindfulness sense. Not even she's just still dying of bullshit. It seems I haven't perfectly clear. What I mean is that that vase wasn't damaged. It's not possible for that debris to have come from the vase because that vase is still pristine. How so? How is that possible? I think I fucked up your voice as well. There's too many voices. I clicked on the thing. Why are you? The lady at the garage sale told me it was so old and delicate. Damn it, the one time I try and thrift shop on my own. Well, so what? How does it even matter? If the vase doesn't have a scratch on it, then the debris must have come from somewhere else. That debris is what my client wrote that apology over. You're saying that confession was his apology for not vacuuming? I am, because that pile of rubble is all that remains of the victim's collection of Fiji bop. Fiji attack. Bro. Fidget tubbies. What he said. Mr. broke the victim. I thought that said Mr. Flat broke the victim's ceramic figures by accident. And this impassioned note to self was just his attempt at scripting out an apology. Can you prove that? Or, we're taking this seriously? As much as I wish we weren't. We're all in agreement that my client wrote that note. And we can all plainly see that there's a ceramic debris at the crime scene. Now since it couldn't have come from the face, it must have come from the collectible. Simple, right? The hell are you on about? The entire room was trash, as the arcs clearly showed. Those Fidgy Tubbies must have gone pulverized during the struggle too. You really gonna claim he sat down to write an apology for breaking her toys after gunning her down? Not a bad train of thought, but I can do better. No, those collectibles were destroyed much earlier than that, and there's proof. What if he's I don't know. I'm just gonna say this. Maybe, I don't know. Just take a closer look at the rental you took into custody. Huh? One swipe of your finger should show you exactly how devastating it was to fickle buddy ecosystem. It's like, I swear, sometimes I click and it just doesn't there. It's fidget tubbies? Whatever. You did take it into custody. I'm sure your text found ceramic debris on it, yes? Now that you mention it. Fine, whatever. He broke them with his arm. While he was killing her, happy? Overjoyed because even a cheap bomb's got an operating system that logged the last time it was worn, right? Right. See, I happened to spin a footnote on the lab report. It said that rental hadn't been used since the AM. Whose side are you on, old man? It's gotten pretty late, sunshine. Just trying to save us all some time where I can. Well, thank you for your service. What is with people hitting desk? Well, thank you for your service. Are you seriously buying this crap? Just look at how scroddled, how panicked that note is. You expect me to believe he was that upset over a fidget tubby collection? One that hasn't even been graded? Setting aside Detective Ray's surprising depth of knowledge when it comes to collectibles. You're correct. They held no real monetary value. It would be odd for Carlos to be so shaken over their loss. But so what? So what? After all, that's not panic you were seeing on that page. No, the only reason that note looks like the way it does is because Carlos is right-handed, yeah. Because Carlos is right-handed. Yes, I am. Did they not know that? Shouldn't that be on my permanent record or something? So the reason why that note looks like a silent wall scribble is just because he had to use his left hand to write it. I tend to think better writing than typing. And I need to get used to using my left hand, or left anyway. I just thought it could be good practice. Taking that into account alongside the ceramics, your slam dunk confession is looking about as watertight as a fishnet. Okay, fine, forget about the confession. Congratulations, counselor. You've established that your Kylan's remorseless. Now let's get back to reality of the situation. Here are the facts. We found your client at the scene of the crime, wearing a coat covered in the victim's blood. Right next to a big old goddamn gun that just so happened to have his fingerprints on it. That's right, that coat is What, you gonna claim it's not his, that he actually wears an extra small? She's trying to bait me in her typical low-key fashion. She must have no sense in playing into it. Something you'd like to like to ask me, detective? I'm just curious, what'll it be next? You're gonna tell me he actually wears an extra small? What is happening? I don't know. Gee, Carlos, do you... no. Yeah, sure. There's no... that's cool, I just don't get it. There's no evil twin you forgotten to mention? I mean, I can only stay, right? There's no evil twin. No, I'm afraid of that. Not even gonna go for a mysterious third party at the scene of the crime? To prove his innocence, I will need to get there eventually. But going there now without hard evidence, I can't prove a third. Can I prove a third? Like, I don't think there was. Would the neighbors count? I don't think so. I'm gonna stay. This is cool. I feel like I'm actually gambling. I have no evidence of a third person at this time. Damn right you don't. It's clear as day in the arcs. No evidence of anyone but Carlos being there that night. So keep dreaming. It was obvious she had something there. I wasn't gonna win with that hand either. But at least I didn't overstep and take any more damage than I had to. We're not contesting any of that, detective. My client freely admits to holding that gun. He picked it up in confusion after coming home to find a brutal crime scene, which was not smart. Hey! But not illegal either. And that's all? He had her blood all over his clothes. Yes, he did. Right. Do you have any of those clothes on hand, by the way? Lab finished with them a while ago. What are you getting at? It'll be easier to just show you. Would you mind getting them for me? You know what? Sure, I could use the fresh air. Stinks of bullshit in here anyway. In here I thought the room smelled like... Psst, Morgan. What are you doing? My coat's covered in her blood. I remember that much. So doesn't that like make me look really bad? Just relax, Carlos. I'm pretty sure that's impossible. You're innocent. And that means that having more evidence will always help you or not hurt you. Really? Really? Not really. Plenty of innocent people in prison. People with bad luck or bad lawyers. People shouldn't count on the truth to come out so easy. More often than not, it takes coaxing. What was it that reminded me of? Alright, here it is. One bloodstained jacket fresh from the lab. So what's your angle? You gonna tell us this is actually just hot sauce? No, that would be silly. She actually thought it over? So what the hell is your point? Hey! Sorry. Just got thrown off by the turn of good fortune. What good fortune? You should thank the detective for bringing you out your jacket at Carlos. She's just proving your innocence. What was that? My client was arrested wearing his coat. He would have been wearing it at the same time of the murder. It has the victim's blood on it, who we know died when she was shot in the heart. By a gun that happens to be an old world pre-tagging firearm. And so this code proves he couldn't have been the shooter. Is there a gas leak in there? In what world does that make any sense? Sense happens to be key here. I just need to draw their attention to what they can, or what you can see on the code with your eyes, what you can smell on the code with your nose. What? I don't get it. Eyes? Just tell me what you see. I see a coat with a lot of dead woman blood on it. And you. That's not gonna work. The truth is plainly there, but this isn't the kind of detail you can see we can make it up. I don't know. Just tell me one more. One of my favorite detective. Tell me what you smell. I don't smell anything except dried blood. Exactly. The code smells like blood, but it doesn't smell of it. Cigarette. That's what I've been smelling. Yes, Detective London, I was smoking earlier. Could you rejoin the conversation? I've been listening. You wanted me to smell the jacket. If you would. Let's see. Huh? No gunpowder. What? What about gunpowder? Oh, don't blame yourself for not noticing. This was before your time. You can't be more than a few years older than me. But not before your partner, it seems. See, gunpowder's weak by today's standards, but it's still hard to store, prone to misfiring. And when it goes bang, it leaves behind an awful lot of evidence. The hell is she talking about, London? Modern firearms like ones we carry use electricity, magnesium, even air pressure or sound waves. They've got more accuracy, more firepower, less recoil, less noise. And they don't leave behind any residue. Gunpowder residue? You talked my ear off about how difficult it is tracking down a gun that doesn't leave a digital trace. But a revolver like this one, it leaves gunpowder on the skin of whoever fired it for days. So then his coat. If you don't trust your nose, you can check the lab reports. I think if they had found any gunpowder on my client or his clothes, they'd have taken the time to highlight it. That just means he washed off after shooting her, or he changed his clothes. That's not impossible, but it would be pretty pointless. Huh? His jacket and his left hand were blood soaked when your officers found him. Would he really go through all the effort to get rid of something as subtle as gunpowder residue? Just to give the victim's blood over himself afterwards? In light of these details, I'd like to formally request that you reconsider the charges of Mr. Flatt is facing as soon as possible. Whoa. They're faltering now, should topple over at any moment. The letter was mostly icing on the cake for them, but that gun is all they had to link Carlos to any of the shootings. So if it looks like he never actually fired the gun, I'll admit things were a little dicey there at times. But once I was able to grasp the situation, the smaller pieces fell into place easily enough. Not my cleanest work by far. But overall, I'd say, did she get the message? Wait, did they actually manage to find it? Something you'd like to share, Detective Reyes? You're good. Twisting the truth into knots, making the facts work for you? Thanks. But your luck just ran out. Because the net scrubbers found a cam active at the exact moment of the shooting and right now. I'm staring at a photo of the killer. I don't know why I gave you that voice. Wanna bet? A photo of the shooter. If she had that, we wouldn't be still talking. But I doubt she's just pulling this out of her ass. She's got something from the scrubbers. I'm gonna raise and say she's bluffing. That's a bold bluff for this late in the game, detective. Especially when we both know that there was an optic blackout during the shoot. Yeah, that is true. Well, that's just it. This isn't. Oh, go fuck yourself. This isn't from optics. I should have figured that she wouldn't make a claim that bold without something to back it up. Party's over, Party's over, counselor. Feast your eyes on this. The fuck? Well. Okay, the quality is lacking. And yet there it is. They managed to find a quarter needle evidence in a whole city block of haystack. What are the goddamn chances? No, with the scale their tools operate on, I guess the chances are always in their favor. Alright, this isn't good, but it's a far cry from the worst case scenario I envisioned. You could even say I got lucky, which means the stakes are... Well, it's a little bit blurry. Don't look at me, I didn't take the damn thing. Technically, no one took it. Looks like at the time of the shooting, a neighbor was on their phone. Probably venting about how crazy the couple across the way was acting. But if their phone was on, its camera would be. And so we managed to get this shot through the window. Where to begin? Far away, unfocused, ultra low resolution, zoomed in, blurred, colors shifted. And so compressed it looks like it's from another century. There are tools that could enhance this image any further, and it could count the pixels on one hand. And you could kiss it its admissibility in court goodbye. You can't honestly claim that you can identify my client from this image, and there's no way in hell you could get this past the judge. Yeah, you're probably right, we couldn't, but I think I know a DA that could. Either way, it doesn't seem like your client's leaving the police station anytime soon. That photo. The hell is happening to me? Think I know a DA that could. Don't be so modest, old man. We have photo evidence of a left-handed shooter standing in the hallway at the same time that the whole neighborhood heard a gunshot. And who do we know had their left hand fingerprints all over that gun? You're referring to my client. You think? We've established he wasn't wearing his modded arm out all night tonight. So he must have shot with his left hand, or his left. Yes, and we have also established that his weak with his left side. A left side that had no gunpowder whatsoever. Forensics need be perfect, counselor. Sometimes we miss things. Sometimes you take a walk through the rain, and when you finally get where you're going, you somehow end up dry. But that doesn't mean it didn't rain. All of which is to say, before judge or jury, photographic evidence outweighs a failed sniff test. Carlos is innocent, I know he is. But that photo shows a left-handed shooter. Carlos is innocent, that photo is real. If both are true, then that means that photo doesn't show what it appears to show. So, at a loss for words? Never. I'm just confused about one thing. Where was this photo taken from exactly? Exactly? Positional data is usually only accurate to the nearest public router. If we de-anon the phone's owner and ask them where... Why bother with any of that? Ballistics and common sense tells us that the perp shot from the room's doorway. The front entrance of the apartment faces to the south. There's a hallway that runs back to the bedroom. We're looking at the shooter, so it's pretty obvious that this was taken from across the north window. From the north window. If this is from the north, then why can't we clearly see the... It's not that complicated. The neighbor who got the shot must live on the other side of the street. So we're looking into the bedroom from the north window. If she's wrong, it should seize on the opportunity to turn the table. He's right, the photo was taken from the north. He's wrong, the photo was taken from the west. I'm gonna race! I'm afraid that's simply not possible, detective. This photo has to have been taken from the west. What kind of bluff is that supposed to be? The good detectives are misinformed here, and I need to take advantage of it. Time to press the initiative. The hell you mean this was taken from the west? The autopsy tells us the victim was shot from the doorway. Your officer's ARCS data tells us the precise location of everything in the room at the time they arrived. And now your photo has shown us the exact moment of the shooting. And together that tells us that this photo must have been taken through the west window. As long as you consider... I don't know. Just take a look at this. The vase, you wouldn't see it from this angle no matter how you spin it. Isn't that about... Oh my god. Fuck off. Statement. Just take one... Yeah, just take one look at the clock in that photo. Right. The clock? What about it? The clock, huh? Seems like London's got an idea. If he's mistaken, I could pounce on it to keep my tempo high. This photo was taken right before the shooting, so... Wait, don't tell me the time of death is wrong. Wrong. He's right, the time of death. He's wrong, the time of death is correct. I'ma raise the stakes. That's a good question, Detective London. but the answer is no. The autopsy, the clock, and the neighbors all agree the time of death was 9 p.m. Right, no mistake in that. So then, what the hell were you on about? There's a clock on the wall in this photo, analog style. It reads 9 o'clock. 9 p.m., the time of the shooting. The hell's so special about that? Nothing. There's nothing odd about the time the clock reads, but do you remember there being a clock in the room? What? Actually, I don't recall there being a clock. That makes sense, you wouldn't recall seeing a clock. Because when the police secured the scene, the clock had already been knocked on the floor. And the only clock in that room is in the northeastern corner. And my client has informed me that before the crime scene, it was hung up on the eastern wall. Like so. What the hell is that supposed to be? An artistic rent. It's very distinct. If you had information on how the crime scene was before the shooting, why didn't you just add that to the art? And show you my hand? Just because discovery compels us to share info. That doesn't mean we have to play fair, detective. Slipped my mind. I'll do that now. The important thing is if that clock was on the eastern wall before the shooting occurred, then this photo must be looking through the western window to see it. Don't start getting ahead of yourself. The victim was shot at 9 p.m. The same time that this photo was taken of the shooter. But you want to claim that the clock's still on the eastern wall when it would have been knocked down the fighting? You've got your logic backwards, detective. Your precision photo shows that the room was pristine at the time of the shooting. And there's one other piece of evidence that proves exactly how the crime fell. The glass. Either that or the vase, I don't fucking know. Glass shard. No, it's not it. What about them? Nothing much, really. Oh, that was right, I swear. Only that they're on top of the victim's body. And not under it. If the glass fell on top of the victim's body, that would mean that she was dead on the ground before the room got trashed. But that doesn't make any sense. Why would anyone trash the room afterward? It's a good question, Carlos. Luckily, it's the detectives who have to delve into the minds of the criminally insane, not us. Tell me, detectives, were there any signs of a struggle at the other crime scenes? Other crime scenes? No, nothing like that. Those attacks would have been all over in a matter of seconds. So what did you think when you saw the mess in the bedroom? That this was what was personal and things had gotten complicated? Shit happens. Shit does happen, detective. But in this case, it seems there's been a general misconception about the order in which shit's happened. So what if the room didn't get tossed over until afterwards? He still shot her. And we have a photo right here. And I'm glad you do, detective, because that photo proves my client's innocent. Huh? Proving that it wasn't my client who pulled the trigger is difficult and maybe more importantly for all of us time consuming. Thanks to your photo, I can instead prove that it couldn't have been my client who pulled the trigger because the man in that photo can't possibly be Carlos. Like hell he can't. The glass shards prove that the room was pristine at the time of the shooting, and we know that until the rim was tossed, that clock was on the eastern wall, which means that this photo of the shooter was taken from the west. Back to this shit, that's impossible. The only hallway in that apartment runs from north to south. The only person with prints on that gun is your client. And the only fact that matters is that he used it to murder 6 innocent people. You're a very honest person, detective. Excuse me? That's why you're such a shitty gambler. You played your cards too early, and now I can steal the pot right from under you. You're right about the hallway's orientation. You're right about the prints. And this HK figure has claimed 6 lives. But we aren't looking at the hallway in the photo. What? What we're seeing is... the victim. The victim? Now that's just sad. She wasn't wearing gloves for starters. If she had ever held the gun, it would have... I don't know. Fuck. Mirror? What is that? You trying glass shards again? Sort of. By the way, do you recall where those glass shards came from? Yeah, sure, they came from a standing mirror. A standing mirror that at the time of the shooting stood across the room from the western window. But then that would mean at that angle from that viewpoint, it would reflect the hallway. So we're not seeing a shooter with a gun in their hand. We're seeing a killer take aim with their right arm. And as we all know, my client hasn't had working out right arm in a number of weeks. And he hasn't worn his rental since this morning. So I meant what I said about that photo. I'm glad it was recovered, because it just proved that my client couldn't possibly have committed this crime. Damn. That should be the end of it. Except it looks like Detective Reyes really is a novice gambler. So, some cause has gotten its teeth in her now, plowing up her spine, whispering wounded pride in her ear. It's a cold sweat, hot palms kind of fever, the potent irrational fury of losing something you thought you was guaranteed yours. But lucky for you, Detective, I'm well reversed in shock therapy. You look dissatisfied, Detective Reyes. That's one word for it. Then allow me to put a nice bow on everything for you. In summary... Whoa. My client's so-called confession was a note to self. The police found him in shock, ruling at the death of his girlfriend, and arrested him for being next to a gun he forensically couldn't have fired. After being confronted with these facts, you received their photographic evidence of the exact moment of the shooting. And instead of utilizing said photo to track down the real killer, you tried to claim that it depicted my client, a man without the requisite limbs, standing in an impossible hallway. That's... He could have had a backup on him. He could have stolen one. A little stubbornness can be charming, but this kind of desperation is ugly. It's getting late. Time to bare my thumbs a bit. This is so fucking cool. This really does feel like Danganronpa. Again, I made the comparison a lot, but it does. That's the best you've got. Even bare bones prosthetic off the black market needs to be attuned to an individual's nervous system. He'd have to bring it to a clinic, which would have left a record on his shoulder OS. A record you won't find. And he'd still have to somehow have gotten rid of it before the police arrived. Stop at the scene of a violent crime calls for full spectrum scanning of the entire building and 100 meters around it minimum. So where Detective Reyes did, he managed to hide his cybernetic arm from your drones in the time between the shooting and his arrest. Damn. Well. Any objections? Detective? God damn it! Fold. So cool. Well. Show me your hand, Flat. You're uncuffing me? In light of the evidence, episode 1, prove your client. Oh, that's episode 1? Yeah. In light of your evidence, we have no reason to hold you. Now I gotta call the DA and tell her I made a mistake. Not we made a mistake, huh? Listen, kid, you should know. Detective. Lost my train of thought. But hey, your attorney's a real tiger, and she just fought like hell for you. Make sure you thank her properly. Public defense doesn't pay that well. Yeah. That's kind of you to say, detective. But my work is its own reward. Sure. I feel exactly the same, counselor. What happens now? I'll have to speak with the DA about the dismissal. And there's still some paperwork we'll need to go through. But basically, you're free to go. Congrats, you get to leave the casino with your kneecaps intact. Yay. But what am I supposed to do? The detectives will continue their investigation. Their investigation into heartbreak, huh? Yeah. When the authorities are satisfied with their examination of the body, she'll be handed over to the next kin. And then you can make a funeral arrangements. No, that's not what I... Diane being gone is bad enough. But a serial killer? It's like she died of the flu. It doesn't happen anymore. People die of the flu all the time, but I know what you mean. I can't make sense of it. So what am I supposed to do? Hell if I know. There's some contacts I could give you. Services, professionals, doctors. No, you've done more than enough for me. When you got here, I was too tired to even defend myself to try and convince them that I didn't. You saved me. Thank you. You're welcome, Carlos, but it's my job to. No, I mean thank you for not asking. For not asking if I killed her. Oh, Carlos. I didn't need to ask. I knew you were innocent from the start. Of course you was. After all, I'm the one that killed her. Imagine if it takes that kind of twist. I was actually kidding! The blood's always different. Heart's always in the same place, easy to find, hard to miss. But the blood's always different. A flowering stain unfurling towards an invisible sun. A perfectly unique bloom, only one for each of us. A Rorschach test with singular universal meaning. Vitality at its climax, bursting forth into a red fractal consisting solely of an infinite end. But the comical thud of a body hitting the floor has its own kind of low brow feel. Bullet number 6 of 6, the gun's empty. It's useless to me now. May as well leave it. You're actually the fucking killer? I was like, oh, imagine she's a heartbreak. Feels like a waste, but whatever. Finding the ammo was almost enough of a hassle to outweigh the advantages. I could sell an untagged gun for a fair bit of cash. But cash can't buy you peace of mind. Oh, don't look so surprised, lady. Moping around in the dark in here, you must have only been able to see my silhouette. Did she think I was her boyfriend? Back for an encore of that enthralling conversation? Can't ask her now. Hey. These old pieces are so goddamn loud. And people aren't even familiar enough with the sound anymore to know to run the other way. Probably rouse half the neighborhood. But I didn't see anything I could use as even a partial suppressor on the way in. Could they really not afford some throw pillows? I used that other 5 bullets in the outdoor spaces in small spheres of wine opportunity that the city's eyes couldn't think to pierce. Cramped places usually full of trash. But this room, as cheap as it looks, is at least clean, organized even. So the corpse adds a certain satisfying contrast. Except there's shit on the floor. Behind the window, two broken pieces of something fragile and tacky. It's fine. It's just one thing out of place. Actually, it's not fine. It's actually really irritating. I kick over the stupid goddamn... Ah, that's how the mirror got broke. Five perfect crime scenes, each of them, not a speck of evidence, nothing to go on. And for the final shot, there just has to be some pile of shit in the corner ruining everything. I kick the wall. Something falls from it, probably more tasteless bullshit. I toss over the chair, knock the urn, tear into the sheets with my frustration and try to savor the shredding. If I can't be clean, I'll just have to lean into the messy angle. At least it will be consistent. This is all so stupid. Honestly, I'm not the ego-driven type. In fact, I pride myself on my humility. Now, was it satisfying when the first three went down with a single shot? Yes. Yes, but so what? I'm not made of stone either. After that, I did start to actively aim for the heart. Ugh. Heartbreak killer. Really? Don't people have anything better to do with their time? What kind of miserable, lifeless voyeurs would obsess over something that's none of their business? All of the threads and breakdowns in the goddamn theory crafting, and all for the heartbreak killer. Sounds like a soap opera villain from a season where the writers were on strike. I feel insulted by the lab, but no, it's someone else's name. They came up with it. They spread it. They market it. Heartbreak's got nothing to do with me. He's just some reclusive, lonely, socially impotent loser who shoots 6 people because... Well, I'm sure people will come up with something. That he got rejected one time. Wait, so you're not the Heartbreak? I don't know. One too many times or whatever. Me, I killed those people because I saw them and I wanted to. And I've killed a lot more than just 6. At least the room is thoroughly trashed now. If I had just walked away after seeing that mess by the window, I would have irritated me to no end. And now that doesn't match the MO of the last 5 horrifically. It'll irritate the costume instead. Good riddance, Heartbreak. You enjoy your 15 minutes in the spotlight, really savor it. I'm going home. The air is weighty tonight, thick, energized, and heavily foreshadowed summer rain I can feel on every hair. They call this kind of humidity oppressive, but I disagree. The warm tension on your skin, like in those short moments just after the shower turns off when the steam lingers. Yeah, it's always most comfortable right afterwards. Maybe there's no disagreement to be had. Oppressive things can be comforting too. Only the guilty ones run. I don't know about that, but I know I've never felt guilty about any of this, and I walk. Oh my god, we're still going? Okay, I know this is a bad spot, but I sadly have to end this episode here. We actually... I wanted to try and finish it this episode, because we don't actually have that much, like, left to go. I think we have, like, 40 minutes, but I've already been recording for 1 hour and 30. And I don't really want to make this video, like, 2 hours long, because it's already going to be long enough. Also, again, sorry about that. But I feel like these longer videos are like better to get the amount of story in. I don't know, but man, so many like twists and turns this episode. Like we apparently, obviously, like we freed the guy, but then we learned that we're actually like we're not the heartbreak killer. We're just the killer. So I guess that kind of like like it puts pieces together why it was always so creepy and how she was like, because it's like you start to think, oh yeah, she knows this stuff because like, oh yeah, she's a lawyer, which she probably is, but she uses the lawyer as kind of like a hidden identity, but she is also just crazy. So so much stuff. It's so cool. But yeah, next episode we'll kind of be finishing episode 0. Again, this is episode 0. Other than this, there's currently one other episode out, which is episode 1. So I might end up actually doing that because I like I said, I really like this game. It's really cool. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this episode of The Devil. Let me know what you guys thought. But yeah, hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, don't forget to punch that like button in the face like a pirate. Also, if you want to see more videos of Assassin's, maybe click the notification. See you guys in the next video.